Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are looking at a coin that celebrates 200 years of American history, and believe it or not, some of these coins that say just $1 have quietly sold for hundreds, even thousands, to collectors. The 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower $1 might be sitting in a coin jar somewhere right now, and most people would never think twice about it, but here's the interesting part. Not every bicentennial Eisenhower dollar is the same. Some have rare details, unusual minting errors, or special silver versions that collectors are constantly searching for. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes this coin special, what tiny features you should check on your own coin, and why certain examples have reached impressive auction prices. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll immediately notice the familiar portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower facing left. His strong profile fills most of the coin. Across the top you'll see the word Liberty, and just below his neck you'll notice something unusual about the date. Instead of a single year, the coin shows two dates together, 1776, 1976. That dual date marks the 200th anniversary of the United States. To celebrate the bicentennial, the U.S. Mint redesigned several coins, including the quarter, half dollar, and the Eisenhower dollar. Now flip the coin over, because the reverse is where things really change. Instead of the usual eagle landing on the moon design, the bicentennial dollar features a completely different image. When the camera slowly moves across the back of the coin, you'll see the Liberty Bell in the center with the moon behind it. Around the top edge are the words United States of America, and below the bell you'll see $1. It's a powerful design. The Liberty Bell represents the birth of the nation, while the moon reflects the space-age achievements of the United States. When this coin was released in the mid-1970s, it quickly became a popular keepsake. Millions of Americans saved them as souvenirs of the bicentennial celebration, but here's the twist. Even though millions were produced, collectors still hunt for specific versions of this coin. First, there are different mint locations. These coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If the camera zooms in under Eisenhower's neck, you might see a small mint mark like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Some coins from San Francisco were made with 40% silver and sold in special collector sets. Those silver versions are immediately more valuable because of their metal content and collector demand, but that's not the only thing collectors check. Some bicentennial Eisenhower dollars show interesting minting errors. For example, there can be doubled lettering in words like Liberty or United States of America. When the camera focuses closely on the letters, you might notice slight doubling or thicker edges on the text. Other coins show die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual strike quality. These small differences can turn an ordinary coin into something collectors really want, and condition makes a huge difference too. If you find a coin with strong shine, clean surfaces, and sharp details in Eisenhower's hair and the Liberty Bell design, you may be looking at an uncirculated example. These are far more desirable than coins that spent years moving through circulation. Now let's talk about value, because this is where things get exciting. A typical circulated 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar is usually worth about $1 to $3. Uncirculated coins in nice condition can sell for around $10 to $20 depending on their quality. The silver versions from San Francisco often sell for more, sometimes between $15 and $30 depending on condition and silver prices, but the highest grade examples certified by professional grading services have reached much higher prices. Some of the finest known bicentennial Eisenhower dollars have sold at auction for several $100s, and exceptional pieces can approach or exceed $1,000. That's a huge jump from the $1 printed on the coin. So now I'm curious. Do you own a 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar? Maybe you've seen one before and never realized it was part of a special bicentennial celebration. And if you could add any historic coin to your collection, which one would it be? Coins like this are fascinating because they combine history, art, and collecting all in one small piece of metal. The bicentennial Eisenhower dollar isn't just currency. It's a reminder of a major moment in American history. Top 2. Today we are looking at a coin that millions of Americans kept as a souvenir, yet some collectors are willing to pay far more than 50 cents to get the right one. The 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar looks like a normal half-dollar at first glance, but certain versions of this bicentennial coin have become surprisingly valuable, and here's where things get interesting. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this coin was created, the small details collectors look for, and a few hidden varieties and minting errors that could turn this simple 50-cent coin into something worth much more. And make sure you stay until the end, because the auction value of the best examples might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin itself. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the well-known portrait of President John F. Kennedy facing left. His profile fills most of the coin. Across the top you'll see the word Liberty, and just below his neck you'll notice something unusual about the date. Instead of a single year, the coin shows two dates together, 1776, 1976. That dual date was created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the United States. In the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint redesigned several coins to honor the bicentennial, including the quarter, the half-dollar, and the Eisenhower dollar. If the camera slowly moves across Kennedy's portrait, you'll notice the fine details in his hair and the clean lines of the design. Now flip the coin over, because this is where the bicentennial design really stands out. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the reverse of the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar shows Independence Hall in Philadelphia. When the camera zooms in on the building, you can see the clock tower and the detailed structure that represents one of the most important locations in American history. Around the top edge you'll see the words United States of America. Below the building, the coin proudly reads half-dollar. This design was chosen because Independence Hall is where the Declaration of Independence was debated and adopted in 1776. It's a powerful reminder of the nation's beginnings. When these coins were released, many people saved them as keepsakes from the bicentennial celebration. Millions were produced, but collectors still pay close attention to certain versions of this coin. First, there are different mint locations. These coins were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If the camera zooms in near Kennedy's neck, you might see a small mint mark like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, and that S mint mark is where things start to get more interesting. Some of the San Francisco bicentennial half-dollars were struck in 40% silver and sold in special collector sets. These silver coins are more desirable because of their metal content and their limited release, but collectors don't stop there. They also look for unusual minting errors. Some 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollars show doubled lettering in words like Liberty or United States of America. When the camera focuses closely on the letters, you might notice slight doubling or thicker edges caused during the minting process. Other coins may show die cracks, weak strikes, or off-center designs. These mistakes happen at the mint and can make a coin stand out from the millions that were produced. Condition is another huge factor. If you find a bicentennial half-dollar with strong shine, smooth surfaces, and sharp detail in Independence Hall and Kennedy's portrait, it may be an uncirculated example. These coins are much harder to find because most were used in everyday transactions. Now let's talk about the value, because this is the part many people are curious about. A typical circulated 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth around 50 cents to $2. Uncirculated examples can sell for about $5 to $15 depending on their condition. The 40% silver versions from San Francisco are usually worth more, often selling between $10 and $20 depending on silver prices and quality, but the highest grade examples certified by professional grading services can sell for several $100s at auction. In rare cases, exceptional pieces in near-perfect condition have approached $1,000 when collectors compete for the finest known coins. That's quite a jump for a coin most people think of as spare change. So now I'm curious. Do you have a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar in your collection, or maybe sitting in an old coin jar? And if you could add one historic coin to your collection, which one would it be? Coins like this are fascinating because they connect us directly to history. The bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar celebrates 200 years of American independence and remains one of the most recognizable commemorative coins ever produced. Top 3. Today we are looking at a quarter that millions of people have seen, but very few realize some of these coins have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter might look like just another 25-cent coin, yet certain versions of this bicentennial quarter have become serious collector items. Now here's the interesting part. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this coin was created, the tiny details collectors search for, and a few rare varieties and minting errors that could make one of these quarters far more valuable than its face value. And make sure you stay until the end, because the auction price of the best examples might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington facing left. The design has been used on quarters since 1932, and it's one of the most recognizable coin portraits in the world. Above Washington's head you'll see the word Liberty. Just below his chin appears the phrase "In God We Trust," but the most noticeable detail is the date. Instead of a single year, the coin reads 1776, 1976. The dual date was created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the United States. In the mid-1970s, the U.S. Mint redesigned three coins for the bicentennial celebration: the quarter, the half-dollar, and the Eisenhower dollar. Now flip the coin over, because this is where the quarter looks completely different from the regular design. Instead of the traditional eagle, the reverse shows a colonial drummer standing proudly with a drum at his side. When the camera moves closer, you'll see the drummer holding his drumsticks while a torch of victory is surrounded by 13 stars. These stars represent the original 13 American colonies. Around the top edge of the coin you'll see the words United States of America, and near the bottom it reads quarter dollar. When the camera slowly pans across the design, the drummer and drum details really stand out. It's a powerful image that connects the coin directly to the spirit of the American Revolution. When these quarters were released in the 1970s, people loved them. Many saved them as souvenirs from the bicentennial celebration. Because of that, millions were produced and many are still around today. But here's where things start to get interesting for collectors. These coins were struck at three different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If the camera zooms in near Washington's ponytail, you might see a small mint mark like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Some San Francisco versions were struck in 40% silver for special collector sets. Those coins are more valuable because they contain silver and were produced in smaller quantities, but mint location isn't the only thing collectors check. Some bicentennial quarters show minting errors. For example, there are coins with doubled lettering where parts of the words Liberty or United States of America appear slightly duplicated. When the camera zooms in on the letters, the doubling becomes easier to see. Other coins show die cracks, off-center strikes, or weak strikes where certain parts of the design look softer than usual. These unusual details happen during the minting process and can make a coin much more interesting to collectors. And then there's condition. Most bicentennial quarters circulated for years, picking up scratches and wear along the way. But if you find one with bright luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details in the drummer's uniform and drum, you may have an uncirculated coin. Coins in excellent condition are much harder to find, and collectors pay close attention to them. Now let's talk about value. Because this is the part everyone wants to know. A typical circulated 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter is usually worth about 25 cents to $1 depending on condition. Uncirculated coins with strong detail may sell for $5 to $15. The 40% silver versions from San Francisco can sell for around $10 to $20 or more depending on silver prices and quality, but the highest grade examples certified by professional grading companies can reach much higher prices. Some near-perfect bicentennial quarters have sold at auction for several $100s, and in rare cases exceptional coins have reached over $1,000. That's a huge difference from the 25 cents printed on the coin. So now I want to ask you something. Have you ever found a 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter in your change? And if you could add one rare coin to your collection, which one would it be? Coins like this show how everyday pocket change can carry history. The bicentennial Washington quarter celebrates 200 years of American independence, and for collectors it remains one of the most recognizable commemorative coins ever produced. Top 4. Today we are looking at a dollar coin that many people once rejected, yet some collectors are now paying hundreds of dollars for the right one. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar was supposed to change everyday money in the United States, but instead it became one of the most misunderstood coins ever made. And here's where things get interesting. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar became famous, the tiny details collectors search for, and a rare variety that can turn this ordinary-looking dollar into a surprisingly valuable coin. Stay with me until the end, because the auction value of the best examples might surprise you. Let's start by taking a close look at the coin. When the camera zooms in on the front, you'll see the portrait of Susan B. Anthony, a leader in the American women's rights movement. She played a huge role in the fight for women's voting rights in the United States. Her portrait faces right, and the design shows strong detail in her hair and facial features. Across the top of the coin you'll see the word Liberty. Around the lower part of the design is the phrase "In God We Trust," and just below her portrait you'll find the date 1979. If the camera moves a little closer to the date area, you may notice a small mint mark. Some coins have a D for the Denver Mint, others have an S for San Francisco, and coins from Philadelphia may have a small P. Now flip the coin over. The reverse design might look familiar if you've seen earlier dollar coins. It shows an eagle landing on the moon with its wings stretched wide. In the background you can see the Earth floating above the lunar surface. Around the edge are the words United States of America and $1. When the camera slowly pans across the design, the eagle, moon surface, and Earth in the distance create a powerful image. This design was actually inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch, connecting the coin to one of humanity's greatest achievements in space. But here's where the story takes a surprising turn. When the Susan B. Anthony dollar was released in 1979, many people didn't like it. The coin was similar in size and color to the quarter, which caused confusion. Because of that, the coin never became popular in everyday use. Millions of them ended up sitting in bank vaults or being stored away, and that's exactly why collectors started paying attention to them. Now here's the key detail that makes some 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar special. There is a famous variety called the wide rim or near-date version. On this coin, the rim around the edge is thicker, and the date appears much closer to the rim compared to the regular version. When the camera zooms closely on the date area, you can clearly see the difference. The numbers sit very close to the edge of the coin. This small design difference might seem minor, but collectors know it's much harder to find. There are also interesting minting errors to look for. Some coins show doubled lettering, die cracks, or slightly off-center strikes. When the camera focuses closely on the word Liberty or the eagle's wings, unusual lines or doubling might appear. These tiny differences can make a coin stand out to collectors. Another important factor is condition. Many Susan B. Anthony dollars were stored in bags or used in vending machines, which caused scratches and marks. But if you find one that still has bright luster, sharp details, and very few marks, it could be a high-grade example. Coins like that are much harder to find than people expect. Now let's talk about value. A typical circulated 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is usually worth about $1 to $3 today. Uncirculated coins with good detail can sell for $10 to $30 depending on condition, but the famous 1979 wide rim variety from Philadelphia can sell for much more. Nice examples can reach $50 to $100, and the finest graded coins have sold at auction for several $100s. That's quite a jump from a simple $1 coin. So now I want to ask you something. Have you ever checked your Susan B. Anthony dollars to see if you have the wide rim variety? And if you could add any rare coin to your collection, which one would it be? Coins like the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar prove that even coins people once ignored can become fascinating collectibles. A piece of history, a tribute to an important figure, and sometimes a hidden treasure sitting in plain sight. Top 5. Today we are looking at a coin that looks small, but it packs a lot of history and value into just $1. The 2000 p gold $1 isn't your everyday change. Some collectors have paid hundreds, even thousands, for the right coin, and it all comes down to the details. Here's what's going to make this interesting. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what makes the 2000 p gold $1 special, the rare details to look for, and why certain versions have sold at auction for prices that might surprise you. Stick around, because by the end, you'll see why this coin is more than just $1. Let's start with the front. When the camera zooms in, you'll notice the portrait of Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who guided Lewis and Clark across the western United States. She's shown carrying her infant son on her back, and the design captures her calm, determined expression. Above her head is the word Liberty, and the date, 2000, sits just below. The mint mark, P, is visible near the bottom, showing that this coin came from the Philadelphia Mint. Flip the coin over, and the reverse is simple but elegant, a soaring eagle with outstretched wings, designed to symbolize strength and freedom. Around the edge you'll see United States of America and $1. The clean lines of the eagle make it easy to appreciate the artistry, and a close-up shot really shows the fine details in the feathers and talons. Now here's where collectors get really excited. This isn't just a standard dollar coin. The 2000 P gold $1 was struck in a special clad composition that contains actual gold. That alone makes it stand out from the circulation coins people might have used at the time. Coins in pristine condition or with specific proofs can carry a premium, sometimes selling for significantly more than their face value. Some coins also have subtle minting differences. Tiny variations in the strike or lettering, like slightly raised edges on Liberty or the eagle's wing tips, can make a particular coin more valuable. Certain proof sets or collector versions were released in very limited numbers, making them rare in today's market. When you zoom in on the details with a macro shot, you can really start to see the differences collectors look for, and of course, condition matters a lot. Circulated coins may only be worth slightly more than the gold content, but uncirculated coins with bright luster, sharp details, and no scratches can sell for a few $100s. Auction prices for high-grade 2000 P gold $1 often range from $200 to $400, and the rarest examples in top-tier grading can fetch even more. So, here's a question for you. Do you own a 2000 P gold $1, or have you ever found a Sacagawea dollar in your change? And if you could add one special coin to your collection, which one would it be? The 2000 P gold $1 is more than just currency. It's a tribute to Sacagawea, a piece of American history, and a coin that continues to capture the attention of collectors around the world. Its gold content, limited production, and historical significance make it a must-see for anyone interested in coins. If you found this interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about the rare coins you've collected or hope to find. And before you go, check out the next video, because the next coin we explore might already be hiding in your pocket.